What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a brand new review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, you guys. Season number 6, I believe this is, you guys. Reunion part 1 of 3. And I honestly don't know why it's a 3-part reunion. Like I said about Bell Collective, I don't understand why we have a 3-part reunion, but hey, we have a 3-part reunion. Only reason why I'm doing this reunion is just to wrap this stuff up because it's a no-go for me. I would have been happy to end it here, but I was like, nah, let's go ahead and give the people what they want, right? Before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, I need you guys to do me that solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, we'll go ahead and discuss this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? And it's the reunion part 1. All right, you guys. So, yeah, you guys. Oof. Reunion. What I will say is the fashion choices on the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion look so much better than the fashion choices on Bell Collective. Hands down. I love Melody's look. This is the second time she's came dressed like this. These are Renaissance-esque outfits that she wore last season and this season. Also, this season, Melody is talking at the reunion because you guys remember last season, Melody was, muted. She wasn't saying nothing. So this season, we got Melody. What I was confused about, I did not like Courtney's suit. It's satin. It looked like it was satin, and it kind of didn't fit him. No shade. It didn't really fit. It looked like it didn't fit him. I wasn't the biggest fan of Stormy's dress. I was not a big fan of Letitia's dress either. I was so confused about what Letitia's dress was. Then on top of that, with Letitia's dress, Letitia's makeup was throwing me off. I loved Kimmy's look. The men, Marceau, I don't remember what his suit looked like, and I don't remember what Maurice's suit looked like, and I just literally finished watching the episode. Martel had a red suit on. He looked similar to Carlos, who also had on a red suit. So yeah, you guys, that's the fashions. Nothing, again, look a whole hell of a lot better than Bell Collective. But yeah, you guys, I don't really expect to be on here like super long to talk about this reunion, but we'll definitely get through it and we'll definitely talk about it nonetheless. We open up the reunion and we are talking about the Scotts 1.0, Letitia and Marceau, and them in business, It was interesting. Now, Letitia. I know you talked about the fact that people talk about how you talk, right? And I'm not one to beat up on a person like that, but like, do you, how do I say this and not be like you just rude or anything or mean? Because I know I don't have the best vernacular, and I know that I have a accent. In certain things I say that you will hear my accent. So I know that I'm a country person as well. And like I said, I know that there are certain words that I may mess up and say, there may be certain words that I don't pronounce the way other people pronounce it, right? That's different than saying espo for expo or thanks for thanks. Those are the two things that I noticed in this reunion that she did. Now, we saw the package of them, and they talked about, they showed the them talking about the expo. They showed them after the expo talking about the expo, and Letitia feels as if everyone on the stage was basically giving negative opinions about the expo. And I absolutely disagree with Letitia, right? I don't, here's my thing. Criticism can come in multiple forms. It can come in positive or it can come in constructive. If there are things that you need to work on, then unfortunately there are things that you just need to work on, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't then say when someone tells you what could have been done better or things that they saw that didn't, necessarily could have, again, if they saw something that they thought, you could have worked on this, you could have done this differently, you could have done this better, that's not a person being negative. That's not a person being negative. That's not a person hating on you. That's a person who's saying, okay, I saw this. Congratulations on pulling this together, but you could have done this, you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have done this and stuff like that. And Marceau, he chimed in and he was like, well, he doesn't think that when it comes down to Melody, Martell, and Maurice, they all gave great criticism or great feedback about it. And so Carlos was like, what about Kimmy? Even Kimmy gave great. I think the thing for Letitia is she feels like if you say anything that's against her, then that is considered negative. That is considered hating. I don't agree with that. You guys can definitely let me know what you think. Now, Carlos started to get messy at this point because he asked Stormy and Courtney if they feel that Letitia and Marceau are a power couple, like themselves. And at this point, Stormy and Letitia were over talking each other, and I don't even know what was said, to be quite honest with you. I legitimately have no idea what they were really talking about because they were talking over each other. And much the same way that I said on my Bell Collective review that I felt like Letitia Pearson practiced her that read that she gave to Latrice, I have to agree with Stormy. I do believe that Letitia prepared that read. I also feel like Letitia, because even when they broke for lunch, Letitia's talking about since the first season, she hasn't really said anything to anybody. And the one thing that we do notice about Letitia is Letitia always shows up to the reunion and she be ready to go. But in the scenes and stuff, she doesn't say much. And I think it's because, you sit at home, you watch the show, you see what people are saying in their interviews about you, and then you see what the fans are saying on social media about you. You see what your castmates are saying about you on social media. And so you come to the reunion and be like, okay, bitch, you've been talking shit about me in the interviews. You've been talking shit about me behind my back. And now, you on Twitter or Instagram, you on Twitter with the gangster thug and all that kind of stuff. So now it's on and popping. So I can see that. I can see that. Again, like I just said a few minutes ago, I had a hard time deciphering what was being said between Letitia and Stormy because they were both over talking each other. I know I heard at one point Stormy said that she was invited to the TikTok studios. Then Letitia was like, girl, use that TikTok money to pay them invoices. And I was like, what invoices? I still have no clarity on what invoices we're talking about. Just for the record, I have no idea. And then at one point she told her to go pop some pills. I was like, now Letitia, that was a little low. And even Marceau had to say like that was low. And so at one point I noticed that Stormy and Marceau were having a conversation with each other. It was kind of under the breath. But, when Stormy and Letitia were going back and forth with one another, Courtney was like, see, that's how it is. That's how you need to be. Let them go back and forth. You stay out of it. And Marceau was like, yeah, I'm staying out of it. But again, I was so confused because I couldn't understand what they were saying to each other. They were talking over one another. I will also point one other thing out about Stormy. Stormy's attitude and demeanor. It's weird. That's all I gotta say. It's weird. Her attitude and her demeanor was very, very weird. What else I want to say about Stormy? Because there were some times when Melody would be talking, and now they would pan. I don't know. It could be editing, right? But there would be times where Melody would be talking, they would pan the camera to Stormy, and Stormy would just have this. That's just the face that Stormy was having. But hey, that was Stormy, Letitia, Marceau, and Courtney all wrapped in a bow. We'll pause here and we will move forward. Next up, you guys, this needs to be the absolute last time. Well, hell, it is for me. I don't give a damn. It's going to be the last time that we discuss the situation with Kimmy and Maurice and their sex life. You know, Maurice was saying that he was ignorant. And to wrap it up in a nutshell, what he was saying is he's learned from his ignorance and he apologized, for his ignorance as well. Do I believe that he was forcing himself on his wife? I mean, if that's how you guys look at it, that's how you guys look at it. I think he was being an asshole. He was being a jerk and he was being completely insensitive to his wife's needs and feelings. During that particular time in her life, sex was the last thing on her mind, but it's the closest thing on his mind beside his, it's the closest thing on his mind because he said he needs sex. It's not a want, it's a need. Well, you need to go get a toy. You need to go to the bathroom and, go to Pound Town on yourself. Now, we then talked about Kimmy faking it, and I noticed even in the scene you could tell, but you could really tell in this particular moment that Maurice's ego was complete. His ego, his masculinity, everything about him was bruised by Kimmy saying that she faked it. He could not handle the fact that his wife said, "I faked it." It just wasn't something that he could handle, and that says a lot about you, right? Because let's be real, I'm for sure there are a lot of women out there, and there probably some. It's a lot harder for a man to fake an orgasm, but it's a lot easier for a woman to fake one. It's so easy for a woman to fake an orgasm. So, what else? What else? But yeah, like I said, his ego was bruised because he's talking about it was wrong. Because if I'm doing this, then the next time we do it, I'm gonna think I'm doing good. That's her boosting you up. That's her not trying to hurt your love feelings. So she's sitting there just being unsatisfied, unpleased, and it's just like, oh, well, this nigga just go ahead and get one off, like, god damn it, get off of me. I know some women probably think that. Like, if you're faking it, you're probably just sitting here thinking, like, okay, when is this gonna end? Because I'm not feeling it. It just ain't it for me. Lord, let this end. So it's his ego. And then Carlos went on to ask Melody about, her faking it with Martell. Lord, why did Carlos bring that up? Because Martell, this is definitely his big ass. It's his ego is so huge. Like he feeds off of this. I guess that's why that dingbat keeps running back to you, because he was like when Melody says she faked it, he's like, that's cap. I was like, Martell, you are what, in your mid 40s, early to mid 40s, talking about cap. No woman he said no woman he fucking is faking it. I was like, well, you think that, but I'm pretty positive there probably has been. But here's the thing, I want to hit him with this. If Melody was so satisfied in the relationship, you said in Houston she cheated on you. So if she was so satisfied with your sex, why are you alleging that she cheated on you? Because if a woman is satisfied with your sex, why would she go and get it from another man? Inquiring minds would love to know the answer to that question, Martell. Answer that question for us. Why would your wife go and have sex with another man if you putting it down because you got a hook and a curve and the bed was wet? Martell, you do know that just because a woman is quote unquote wet doesn't mean that you've pleased her or had an orgasm. You do know with sexual stimulation, it starts up here in the brain. It starts up here in the brain before it even reaches the nether region. It starts right up here. If you are not stimulating her up here, You gotta stimulate the brain first, buddy. Stimulate the brain. And with Martell literally gives me that he is a selfish lover, right? I don't see Martell, you know, some women like, play up here. Some women like, I'm trying to find the best way to say these things without getting to like without actually saying the words and getting like super duper 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 graphic, right? But so I know some women, some women have, get pleasure from up here, right? Some women get pleasure from up here. Some, and I know every woman gets pleasure from down there. It can be from a multitude of things, Uh, how now this is where it gets tricky on how do I say this. This is where it gets tricky. Some women like you to stimulate them, like this. I'm just gonna do motions. This is weird because I'm trying to figure out how to say it, right? But some women like stimulation like that with the lady part, the particular lady part that starts with a C. Some women like to have oral pleasure. That's easy to say. Some women like to have oral pleasure. Some women like you. Some women like all that stuff before you like. Again, you have to fit. You have to stimulate up here, then work your way down. Once so even and Mel said that at one point. Like she even mentioned that about up here. But Martell stood up and she was like, that's also part of the reason why I wasn't getting off. She don't like that big ass ego stuff. I'm like, girl, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Dum Dum if she ain't faked it once or twice in the course of they relationship or whatever you want to call that. I don't really care. Yeah, that's really all I got. Now we'll pause here and wrap up the part one of the reunion. All right, you guys. So next up, we have the ladies plus the biggest bitch, Marceau, on the stage. And we just talk about Marceau inserting himself in the women's, with the women. And he's trying to say that the women ask him questions, but no, you also insert yourself a whole hell of a lot. But I have to agree with what Stormy said about Marceau. Marceau knows what he's doing when he does these things. Marceau wants a rise and a reaction out of everybody. He wants a rise and a reaction from the women on the show. He wants a rise and a reaction from the fans of the show. Marceau plays towards the cameras. That is the one thing that Marceau does, and talk about it. So Marceau knows what he's doing. Marceau is. It is what it is. Now, I don't necessarily like because what he's doing in this part right here is I didn't like the fact that he was downplaying Stormy, talking about Stormy probably is insecure about being on this platform, and I love the fact that Stormy said, "Nigga, I was already known before Love and Marriage Huntsville, but you and Letitia." Y'all built y'all's businesses because of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I was like, she ain't lying, because would they have had Black and now let me back that back just a little bit before anybody gets in the comment section. I know that they had Scolt, and I know that they had the construction, that business side before Love and Marriage Huntsville. I know that Scolt and all that kind of stuff. It was before Love and Marriage Huntsville, but Black. All right, you guys. So yeah, Black and Chocolate in a Bottle, those are things that they have acquired after being on the show. So one does, ask the question, like, some of the things that y'all have are due to the success of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So she wasn't wrong. Her business was already thriving before this show. So the fact that, like I said, he tried to downplay her, I just wasn't cool with that. So then, he was talking about he doesn't want Letitia to be a single mother. He still took little digs at Mel, but Mel was like, uncross your legs, Marceau. You're more you're right. You're on the right stage, just as sassy. Let me cross my legs. And that's when I saw Stormy with Screwface again. I was like, what's going on here? But okay. What else? They talked about Melody's t-shirt business, but the thing is, Marcel, y'all got a t-shirt business, so it's like pot me kettle. But hey, it is what it is. And that was really all that it was. If I did miss anything with that segment, definitely chime in and leave it in the comment section. It was just a lot of stuff, right? I know, also I know, we were talking about, Letitia said she doesn't get caught up in the whole title of boss. If that's what she says, that's what she says. I choose to believe what she says, but on the show, it doesn't come off that way. Even Marceau didn't believe it. And Marceau was talking about he also talked about the fact of, with her, she wants to be there for her kids, like, cooking breakfast for them, taking them to school and all that kind of stuff. And how can she do that if she's booked and busy? And Melody was like, hold on now, pump the brakes on that one, sir, because I'm not going to let you do that. Because she says, I cook breakfast for my kids in the morning. I take my kids to school. I'm always there for every function for my kids, and I'm still booked and busy. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to discount that or discredit that. But I also will say you might be burning a candle at both ends, because you got to take time for yourself. So you're being a businesswoman, a mother, and when do you have time for yourself is what I'm saying. Nothing's wrong with nothing is wrong with any of that. I applaud her. I commend her. So we break after that, and we move on, and we have Kiki join the stage. And so I'm going to ask this question. Why did they do this again? We literally complained about this when y'all did it in the episode. That episode where Melody and Kiki sat down with each other, and they were talking about Marceau allegedly having a threesome with the women. When they played the package, they just bleeped out the person's name. But then in this scene at the reunion, it's the honking, it's the dog barking. I was like, why are we doing this dumb shit again? Now, Kiki. Can we say something about Kiki real quick, you guys? I have an issue with Kiki in the fact that you're calling Letitia dumb and dumber. Fine, that's fine. Call her whatever you want to call her. I agree with Letitia. She ain't called you out your name, so why are you calling me out of mine? I agree with her. The problem that I then had was the fact that, she's talking about Letitia. I forgot the choice of words that she used, but Letitia asked her, what am I? Oh, she said Letitia's in denial. So Letitia asked her, what is she in denial about? Kiki said, what everybody can see. And what is it that everybody can see, Kiki? What everybody can see, that you got a cheater on your arms. And I was like, okay, she has a cheater on her arms. That hasn't been proven as a fact. That is what people think. But no one has come up with, let me scratch that as well. No one has come with proof, because I can't say that nobody's come up with a woman that he's had an affair with, because yes, they have said that there's been a woman. If I'm not mistaken, the woman that he allegedly had an affair with was Martell's cousin, right? The hairstylist. That was Mel's hairstylist at one point. So, yes, they have come with a woman, but nothing has ever been substantiated or proven. So, I'm like, okay, can we please let this go? Well, Tisha said, okay, well, if you're talking about my husband is a cheater, you and your husband are both cheaters. You cheated on your husband cheated on you, and when y'all first got together, you paid for him to go on a date with another woman. So who's the dummy? I was like, oh, Letitia came prepared for this reunion. Letitia is activated. But yeah, you guys, that is part one of the reunion. Again, I don't know why we have a 3-part reunion, but hey, we have a 3-part reunion. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys, and until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one, you guys.